Hello, everybody. I'm Keith O'Dare, and welcome to When You Search for the Truth, where we look for the truth by looking at what was actually written in the Word of God, word for word in the original text. Tonight, I'm going to show you the Blue Letter Bible, a tool that you can look at the original words and see what those words actually mean. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. All right, go to your computer desktop and open up your favorite browser. In your favorite browser, in the search bar, type in Blue Letter Bible, hit enter, and you'll notice there's one with the icon, bluish icon over the Bible. That's the one. Hit the link, and you'll notice it has its own search bar. In that search bar, you can put a verse, you can put words from a verse, or you can put a topic that you are studying. In this case, we're going to go Genesis chapter 1. And if you notice right below it is KJV, which is King James Version. If you go to the inverted triangle, you'll notice there's a whole bunch of other versions that is supported by the Blue Letter Bible, NIV, ESV, and so on. In this case, we're just going to stick with the default, which is the King James Version. And then you hit enter for the search. All right. Now that you're in the selection that you selected, I want you to click on this link right here, and this will open up what's called the Interlinear Bible tab. And that's pretty much all you're going to need as we do a word for word. Within the Interlinear Bible tab, you'll notice the very first thing you come to is what's called the Masoretic text. The Masoretic text is the Jewish interpretation of the original scriptures. If you drop right below that, you'll notice that is the actual Masoretic text. It's read from right to left, and it's important, at least for now, to remove the show vowel points. And you see where it says reverse, click forward. That will now allow this to correspond with these. So if you hover over this, you'll notice the very first entry highlights. You go to the next one highlights, and so on. In reverse, if you look at the reverse, you notice if you do it, the first one highlights, then you go to the second one, but the third one highlights. See it? So again, you want to click the forward tab. Now notice, as you look at the Masoretic text, the very first word corresponds down to this section here, but also look at this area here. It has three entries. One is called inflected, one is called the root, and one's called transliterated. Transliterated is simply how you pronounce it. Inflected means changed from the original. The root here is the original word. So notice the letter bet was added to Rashid. A batter sheet versus a Rashid. Rashid, as you see here, is inflected, changed from the original. The original word is Rashid, which is the root, not to be confused with the root of the actual word. And we'll get into that once we get into the Strong's number. Now, before we get into Strong's, I want to show you the English area here. You notice over here, it is one word. And yet, in English, it has three words. And again, we'll get into that when we get more into the Strongs. But you'll notice there's 3 in the English translation, and there's only 1 word. And that really comes from the inflected version of it, the bet or the Bereshit is in the beginning, whereas Reshit is just first or beginning. And we'll get into that in a second. But as far as the Strongs, this guy right here is one of the most important sections of the Interlinear Bible tab. And hover over that and click on that, and we'll get into the Strong's tab. Strong's numbering system is a Strong's like a dictionary. For if you notice the H at the top here, followed by a number, every word in the Bible has a number. If it's Hebrew, it has H. If it's Greek, it has G. Pretty simple, I know. Here's the transliteration and the pronunciation are right at the top. If you want to know how it sounds, you can hit the little sound icon. I'll go ahead and play it.
Strong's H 7225. Reshith, Reshith. Second entry. Reshith, Reshith.
All right. And you can look into these as you desire. The dictionary aids and the part of speech and so on. Just keep in mind, parts of speech came in about around the 9th or 10th century AD. There was no grammar in the Hebrew language. Matter of fact, in the English language, it didn't come around until about 400 AD, which, anyway, uh, if you want to get more further into that, feel free to get into it. But I wanted you to point to the root word. You notice back a page, we noticed that it was inflected versus root. But you notice it has a root word here. You notice this word right there is etymology. It is the word from which it came from. And if you click on it, Reshit, it comes from Rosh, as you see right there. Rosh means the top or chief. But anyway, that's the true root of the word, going back to the Reshit. And if you look into the outline of biblical usage, you'll notice that it has a primary, and then it has a list of alternate usage. If you look further down into the definitions, it repeats this pretty much. And again, it's first, the first in time and place. You notice it says first is the primary, beginning is the secondary. The reason why they went with the secondary in your translation and in the inflected text of the Masoretic text is because it doesn't match up with in the. It doesn't sound right when you say in the first. So they went and decided to go with in the beginning. In reality, in the doesn't belong there. It was added, and it should be first as the primary. But again, as we get into that, we'll find out more about that. But feel free, obviously, to go down and read into the rest of the entry. But as far as what we need for the word for word, we need the primary usage and the definition in this section. All right, using the same methodology, you can now do the rest of the verse of Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, word for word, and same way we did the first word, and find exactly what it actually says, word for word, in the original text. You'll find out that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, is actually first created Elohim, Aleph and the Tav, heavens, Aleph and the Tav, earth. what does that all say? That's what we go in a little deeper in the next video. So if you want to get notified when that next video comes up, please hit subscribe below and please click like. You what brings people into this channel to learn the word for word. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time in the next video. If I don't see you again, as always, I love you. I'll see you at the Southern Gate.